Hello, everybody, and welcome to Something Suddenly Came Up, a retro review. I'm Leann, the kid sis of this lovely lady whose handle is the Groovy Granny. And as always, we're chatting about all things 60s, 70s, and 80s. And we dip back into the 50s usually to pull some Lucy trivia out, but not today. Today, we're staying in the late 70s, early 80s, because we're talking about something near and dear to our hearts. And what is that?
I would say this is a show that she and I absolutely share, being probably in our top five sitcoms, right?
Definitely, definitely. And I think anybody in our age bracket has some memory or some line or something from it because it was such a phenomenal, it was like a new concept, first of all. You didn't really see too much. And also just a great cast, a phenomenal cast.
And that is, of course, the TV show Taxi.
Mhm.
And she is right. It was what was called now an ensemble cast.
Mhm.
And it was a larger ensemble cast, I would
It really
say.
was. Yeah.
And they
Yeah.
had the incredible writing of James Brooks. Isn't that his name?
That's
James Brooks, if
James
I'm
L. Brooks.
remembering.
Yep. Yep.
And he, I believe, also wrote for the Mary Tyler Moore Show. I mean, super quality writing, which always helps these ensemble casts.
Right.
When you look later down in the years, it would, like Cheers was an ensemble cast,
Right. Right.
Seinfeld,
Right.
there's so many of them down the road that came after this. And
But you have to really strike fire with the characters because an ensemble cast
mhm.
sometimes can feel, well, look at Friends, that's a great ensemble cast too. But it can feel really corny if you don't have the characters very different from one another, but also very cohesive. It has to make sense.
And you
But
have to have the great writing and the time to develop the characters.
Mhm.
I feel like now there's never time for that in a lot of the shows that they put on. And
Right.
so it's like, it's thrown at you like that and you're just kind of hit in the face with it.
And
But
I
not with this one.
not with this one. This is like I mean, honestly, my impression of it now is so it ran from 1978 to 1983. So, my impression, a lot of my likes were impressions from watching it with mom. So,
Mm.
memories of it and impressions of it. But, headed up by Judd Hirsch, an amazing actor.
The absolute anchor of the show.
He is the absolute anchor of the show. And then you can't, I mean, let's just name off some of these stars. People will be like, oh my gosh. Danny DeVito, who I love. I forgot how much I love him until I went back and refreshed my memory on some Taxi episodes. And he's just so good. So
He
talented.
is just perfect for this part in particular.
He can play heartfelt all the way to rotten.
Yes, he can. Yes, he can. And that is hard to do.
Yes,
That
that is,
is hard to be despicable, but then
but
people
love.
love you
Yeah,
at the
yeah,
same
yeah.
kind of,
And then
J.R. Ewing from Dallas, same thing,
yes, 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 yes.
little less lovable maybe with him, but
Right, right, right. But still, you lean in for those JR
mhm,
clapbacks. He says the
mhm.
most terrible stuff, and you're like, did he just say that? And why do I love it? The stuff he calls Sue Ellen, you're like, whoa, wow.
Yeah.
And of course, it has the hunky Tony Danza, who
Yes,
parlayed into his own show, Who's the Boss, which was so famous and so fun. And then Mary Lou Hinner from Evening Shade later on. And Jeff Conaway from Grease, if you guys have
yes.
seen the movie
Kenickie from
Grease.
Greece.
Kenickie, yeah. And then who else? Andy Kaufman. Oh my gosh. I
Yes.
forgot how much I love him until I saw, like I said, I refreshed myself on
Strangest humor, but it gets you.
it.
It
It
gets you.
works. Again, he can do endearing to weird and
Yes.
everything in between. And then, of course, Christopher Lloyd.
Back to
And
the
then,
Future, Doc.
and then we've got to say Randall Carver because he played John on the first two
The only
episodes.
dud
One episode.
was the dud that didn't last.
Okay, here's something I have to say about Randall Carver as John. It's not that he's not an endearing guy. It's that his character was kind of a little bit towed over into Tony's territory, and then he towed over into Alex's territory a little, and it didn't really make sense.
Yeah, there was nowhere to go with him.
Right, right.
He wasn't one of the ones that, like, kind of the whole premise of the show is that everyone but Alex has something else they aspire to do, and
Right.
they're
They're
only
all cab
following
drivers,
cab.
you guys,
Yes, I'm
obviously, from the
sorry,
show
cab
title
drivers.
Taxi. Right. They're
Sunshine
New York,
Cab Company.
yes, they're New York City cab drivers. And Danny DeVito plays their dispatcher, Louis De Palma, and the
Yes,
guy you go. Everybody has, you're right. Everybody has something they'd rather be doing, and they're just driving the cab, except Alex, who's a lifelong cabbie. But
yes,
sorry, go ahead. I just wanted to
and
move on that.
admits that. So
Yeah.
Bobby is an aspiring actor. Tony is a boxer.
Hmm.
Elaine wants to be, she's a receptionist at an art gallery, and she wants to take that further. Who am I forgetting?
Well, lots
Well,
of mechanics.
Jim who comes, he's not in the first season, although
Yeah.
he's a guest star in the first
Yes,
season, but
he
he
is.
comes permanently in the second season.
Yes.
And he's a I won't go into too much detail
Yeah.
about Jim yet, just in case we have it on our list where it
Right.
explains his background.
Yeah.
But what we know of him when he's presented is he is a burnt out, too many
Yes.
brain
He's an
cells.
ex-hippie who's completely burnt out and kind
Yes.
of living that hippie lifestyle. Yeah, I don't want to take over that. Never mind where we
Yeah.
first see him, but yeah,
Yeah.
he is it doesn't sound funny by today's where we're very concerned about everything. Not that we shouldn't be in some ways. It's just a comedy show, but he's definitely very burnt out and has flashbacks from
Yes.
using too many drugs in the 60s. And that's
Yes.
our impression of Jim for sure.
And
But
then Latka is the person who fixed the cabs, and he's from, oh no, where's he from? Latka Gravis. Where's he from?
I can't wait.
Oh
I
no.
might have to look that up. I don't know where he's from, but you guys, it's not a real place.
No,
So,
it's not a real place. And
yeah.
he's just come to the country and
Uh-huh.
he's learning English, and that's
Yeah.
part of the funny stuff.
And
And
Andy Kaufman has invented some fake language. So when
yes.
Latka's like, "Ba-ba-da-ba-dee-ba-dee-da," and we're all like leaning in, I think he's invented this language.
Yes. Yes, very much so. Very much so.
Oh my gosh.
So
And
should
Latka's
we
sweet.
start?
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
sorry.
let's go.
You
No,
go.
no, I was just gonna say Latka's kind of sweet and endearing. It's
Yes.
to Louis kind of sour and kind of mean spirited, but
Yes.
together they're so cute. But yeah, let's go with your episode 5 or memory 5, however you want to look at it.
Leanne,
Okay.
this was so hard. I think I told you earlier, we don't tell each other what we've chosen
We
in
don't.
any of the
We
subjects we
don't.
do. But I did tell her, I said, because I'll pen them down as I think of them,
Oh,
like to then choose my 5. I have 26 episodes written
oh,
here.
I try to just go from my kid memory, and you guys know I mostly do that. I have my kid memories of the shows and why they're endearing to me. But I made the happy mistake of being like, I'm just going to watch Taxi reruns from episode 1. I was falling down laughing, and then that made me like, I don't even know what I like anymore. They're all
I
so
know.
good.
They're all good. I would
Oh,
say, I think I looked, I feel like there was like 140 episodes total or something like
there's
that.
5 seasons, and
5
back when
seasons.
people made real seasons.
Yes.
So we're
So at
talking,
least 27 episodes,
yes,
27 to
yes,
30 episodes
yes,
per year.
yeah.
So it's a
So
lot.
yeah, I was
But
like,
I
oh,
would say out of all those, maybe there are 10 episodes that I don't care for.
right, right, right.
I mean, how many shows can you say that about, really?
How
You
many
know?
shows can you say went 5 seasons and had that many episodes? Unless they're from our time period.
Right, right.
But what I thought was interesting about Taxi, and I'm going to let you say your 5, is this. There was a trend kind of towards a little more gritty realism. It left the Hazel days and the Father Knows Best and all those things behind. And there was kind of, All in the Family and the Jeffersons and all those shows that, although they had heart to them, there's a little grit underneath. And so Taxi on the surface, if you see it, Sunshine Cab Company is kind of dreary and gray.
Mm,
And there's a bunch of different characters. Nobody's Farrah Fawcett Majors. Mary Lou Winner's beautiful, by the way, but you get what I mean.
yes.
There's not that.
They're
Um,
just your average everyday guy.
yeah, and so you kind of wonder, what's this going to be like? And there is that bit now as the seasons go on, I think it gets a little more campy. But even though it's very, very funny, there is that undertone, that kind of Chico and the Man, that kind of, undertone of realism, right? To the first few seasons.
Yes, I think
Yeah.
so. And you're right, maybe a little bit more in the first 2 seasons, but
Mhm.
I feel like even if they push towards campy, it was with the utmost respect that I say that. Like
And it
it was
never
a
got
good
so
kind of
silly that you were like,
yeah.
oh, good Lord, they jumped the shark.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
Oh, I
Well,
love that episode
I'm
where
going to
they
start
jumped
off
the
with a
shark.
controversial episode. I
Okay.
hope
Oh,
so.
let's
Let me just
go.
say this subject might be distasteful to some people, but it wasn't meant to be. This was back in a time when we laughed about the realities of life. And this was one of those situations that I'm sure continues to happen to this day, but maybe handled a little bit differently. But what is that should make this even funnier to
I am
everyone.
leaning in.
Okay. It's called Elaine's Strange
Oh,
Triangle.
oh, yeah. I
Should I
do.
not do it, Lee?
No, do it. Do it. Do it. You guys, this was having this on TV was a little bit it towed the line back then. It was a little controversial. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
But at the same time, bringing
Respectfully
attention
done.
and awareness to the situation. And I don't think in a negative way.
Right. Not
I think
disrespectful.
even though we laughed, it still had a positive
For sure.
outcome, I
Sure.
guess you
For
would
sure.
say. So anyway, Elaine Nardo is a single mother. She has two children, and she's always kind of looking for love, kind of thing.
Very responsible woman,
Yes.
very pretty. Yeah.
And in this particular episode, she's had a breakup that she's kind of sad about, and they all go to this little bar place called Mario's
Yep, Mario. Yep.
after their shift.
Hmm.
And so they're at Mario's, and the guys for her say, "Look at that cute guy up there sitting at the bar." And Elaine's like, "No, no, no, I'm not doing this. I'm just getting over this." And Tony's like, "Come on, I'm going to walk up there with you." So Tony and Elaine walk up to the bar and they begin to have a conversation. And Tony's the one starting it. Because she's kind of like, so they start talking, and the guy realizes that Tony is introducing him to Elaine. So we think Elaine and this guy are dating. They begin seeing each other, having a relationship of some sort.
Hmm.
And so I'm forgetting a little bit what happens in between. But
Hmm.
but the really funny part and kind of endearing in a way is the guy who Elaine starts to date comes to the cab company to talk to Elaine. There's something he needs to tell her, but the only person there is Tony. And Tony's like, "You look really upset. Do you want to talk to me any about it?" And he's like, "Yeah, I think I do," that kind of thing. And so he begins to tell Tony that he says, "Tony, when you guys walked up to the bar to talk to me and I expressed an interest," he said, "it wasn't in Elaine." And Tony's like, "It wasn't?"
Kind of sweet and naive, you
Tony
guys.
is
He's
very
very naive.
innocent and,
Mhm.
just kind of do kind of guy. And he's like, "No, it wasn't." And so Tony's like, "Hmm, And then he's like, "Oh, no, 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 no." His part, and then he like smiles at the guy and is embarrassed.
Yeah, Tony's
Well,
a sweet guy. He wouldn't be mean to
then
him.
Tony draws in Alex, and Alex is like, "I'm tired of solving everybody's problems. I'm not going to do this for you. You have to talk to Elaine and the guy." So they decide to meet the guy at this, what they think is just a regular bar, and Alex is early. So Alex comes in and is
Oh,
sitting and
yeah.
trying to talk to the guy. And the guy says, "Alex, I completely understand what's happening here. I've already discussed this with Elaine. She's perfectly fine with it. And I understand Tony's not interested too. And that's okay." So the guy was really cool about it. But they are at a gay bar, and Alex doesn't realize it at first. And a gentleman comes over and asks him to dance. And he's like, "No, thank you. No, thank you." And it ends up Alex dances with the man and somehow ends up on top of the bar dancing.
Oh my
And
God.
he tries to come off the bar, and the guy catches him and dips him just as Tony's walking in. And
Oh
Tony's like, Alex, poor Elaine's heart's getting broken and you're in here having fun.
Yeah. Oh,
Did I get it all right?
you got it all right. And the thing to know about Alex is he's the voice of reason. Like you said at the
Yes.
beginning, he's the anchor. He's the guy they all come to if he has a problem,
Yes.
if they have a problem. He's the guy that's gonna and like you said, they send him to smooth things over if something
Yes.
has gone wrong.
Yes.
So Alex getting dipped is hysterical. Alex going and not quite realizing everything about it.
Yes.
And then
And
you're
still
right,
trying to be polite though. Like he
so polite
doesn't
and
want to hurt
nice.
anybody's
Yeah.
feelings. He doesn't want to make them feel bad.
And then Tony's cute reaction too, where he's just like, no, 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 no. But
Yeah,
he's,
he's like,
the little
oh, and
flattered
then
no. Yeah.
he smiles
Little,
at him
yeah.
like
Yeah. No, that's a great episode. I
it
love that
really
episode.
is. It's
And it's
just
kind
all
of
around
indicative
good.
of what always happens to Elaine when she tries to date.
Yes, poor Elaine.
There's always something with Elaine in the
She's
date.
always on the losing end of a relationship, it
Kind of
seems
it.
like.
She really kind of it. Oh, I love that. That was a great pick. And that really showcased their heavy hitters there. You know what I mean? I mean, it
Yes.
didn't have my Louis in it, but yeah. Um,
Yes.
I love Judd Hirsch. I
Me too.
think as a kid, Latka's funny and Jim is funny. But as I'm watching this as a grown-up, I'm like, I love Judd Hirsch. I remember being a kid and seeing him in a movie. I want to say you guys it's called Missing, but I'm not 100% sure.
Mm,
It's a cop and a little boy is stolen on the walk to school.
yeah.
It's a pretty intense movie, but he does such a good job.
Is it a
And
movie or a made for TV movie?
I think it's a movie. It
Okay.
has a lady called Kate Nelligan. Does that
Oh
sound
yeah, I
right?
know who
Is that
that
what
is.
it's on
Yeah.
back in the day? I'm pretty sure it's a movie, but he did such a great job. Anyway, love Judd Hirsch. I think he's so amazing and he's so fabulous as Alex. Um, but yeah, I think I just had to set that up for people that don't know. Their personalities are very specific. So Alex is definitely in the leadership role, but he's not looking for that. He's
No,
just a
he
good
doesn't really
stand-up
want
dude.
that. He just
Yeah,
happens into it.
yes. And you explained Elaine perfectly. She's a single mom, very responsible lady working two jobs. Bobby Wheeler's our aspiring actor who's kind of quirky and a little bit of a ham, of course. And a little
Overactor, I would say.
overact. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. And then Tony Vanta is an ex-Vietnam vet and an
Oh
ex-fighter.
yes. Yes.
And then Jim and Lodka we covered, and then Louis is irascible. He's just this little meanie who's their dispatcher, but we see all sorts of sides. Who lives at
Yes.
home with his mom, by the way.
Yes.
Um, my number five, I sort of accidentally segued, but it's called Bobby Doesn't Live Here Anymore. And
Oh
Bobby has a chance to work in LA. And so they're going to miss him. And he's always looking for his big break. Ever since we've met Bobby, he's
yes.
overacting and he's on the phone with his agent and he's always trying to get a part. And it seems that he may have a part on tap in LA, right? Isn't that where he
Mm-hmm.
might be going?
Mm-hmm.
So they keep trying to like throw him a going away party and things keep going back and forth. But Latka, bless his heart, when he's moving to LA, he brings a wrapped gift that looks suspiciously like a beach ball because it's not in a box, it's wrapped like a beach ball. And then Bobby says, thank you, Latka, but I'm not leaving after all. So they have a staying party for him or whatever. And Latka brings this suspicious package and he says, I'll give you a hint. It rhymes with Ziermuffs. And that has struck me as funny since I was, what, 7 years old. But he says, rhymes with Ziermuffs. That's the hint he gave Bobby. And they are perfectly wrapped earmuffs.
I'm gonna get
And so
hiccups.
I know. And so as the show goes back and forth, he brings the beach ball back and then the earmuffs. And then Bobby, I believe, ends up staying, right? But anyway, it's just that is probably the funniest part of the episode. And in the midst of it, Jeff Conaway does his over-the-top acting best. I think Jeff Conaway's hair has a part even.
Yes.
This head of Andy Gibb, Bee Gees hair. That if
Yes.
he's upset, it's moving around. If he's surprised, he pulls it back. He's
Yes.
just like over the top, which I'm not sure if that's Jeff Conaway's acting or if that's his perception that Bobby is an over the top guy who's always over the top.
I
I'm
sort of
curious.
get the impression he is Bobby.
Okay.
That's my impression, that
Jeff
he is
Conway, chime
Bobby.
in.
Now Jeff had a little bit more success than Bobby
Right, yes,
in reality,
that's true.
but still, you know,
He plays Bobby. Bobby's a little self-centered. He's fast with the ladies, like he always has a line and everything. And every line he delivers as Bobby is just 10 times more than it probably needs to be.
so very much
But
so.
it works because Bobby's an actor, or
Yeah,
Bobby's trying to
yeah.
be an actor, so it really does work.
It's kind of what you would expect him to be if he's an aspiring actor, but have been working in this cab company for quite some time. Like there must
Yes.
be just that little something missing in his performances.
Yes,
But
yes, exactly. So that's my number five. That rhymes with, give you a hint, it rhymes with Zierma.
earmuffs.
Yeah.
Thinking that as soon as
And
you
it's
started the
wrapped
episode.
just like earmuffs, even the beach ball, right? It's a beach ball is the other thing. And then the
Oh,
Ziermuff.
oh
To
my
this
god.
day, when my kids go
Yeah.
up to get dressed for school, I'll be like, get your Ziermuffs.
Well, this is a perfect segue into my
Oh,
number
good.
four,
Nice.
because my number four is called Latka's Cookies.
Oh, I know. This,
So,
yes.
so Latka, I guess did his grandma pass away? Something about his grandma passed away, and she passed down to him her very famous cookie recipe.
Yes.
And that in his country, which it's driving me crazy that I can't think
I got to look it up. Keep
of.
talking.
Okay,
I have to,
okay.
you guys.
So the cookies in his country, like people would come from miles around to get these cookies. They were very popular. And so he decides he's sick of fixing these cabs, and he wants to become as famous as Famous Amos.
Yes, yes.
I don't know if Famous Amos cookies are still around, but it's a real cookie company. And as a matter of fact, he either is Famous Amos or he's the spokesman for Famous Amos, but that person is on the show in one of Latka's dreams about it.
I don't mean to interrupt you, and I'm not
Yes.
sure this is correct, but Google is saying they never explicitly say the name of the country. It's vaguely Eastern European or Balkan, but they never say. They
Well,
say the
maybe
old
that's why we
country.
didn't know. I
Yeah.
feel better. And you
I
know
feel
what I
like
kept
somebody
thinking
out
in
there
my
is going
head?
to
I
be,
kept thinking, hearing Mork from Mork.
yeah, 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 yeah. Oh my gosh.
Maybe that's why. Yeah.
And
Okay.
it does make sense. I'm going to get right back to you, but it does make sense because there's an episode where Alex's sister comes and she's kind of snobby and she's
Yeah.
a world traveler and she spoke to Latka in
Oh,
his
she
language.
did.
And
That's
she
right.
said, I can tell he's from a poorer district. His grammar is very bad. But anyway, go ahead. And they never said that. She's like, I've traveled extensively in Europe. That's all
That's
she said.
right. She is able to speak with him.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
hilarious.
And his
That is
grammar is quite bad.
hilarious.
Sorry, go ahead.
No,
Latka,
that's
brownie,
okay.
grandma's
So
brownie.
so Latka brings some of his cookies to the cab company for everybody to try, and everybody wants to be nice to Latka, so they're biting them, and they're like, these are awful. Like they were like, I can't believe people really like these. And so they're like real chewy. And one of the lines that cracks me up is they're like chewing, and everybody's like, has anybody been able to swallow yet? And they're like, no. And I think it's Tony that says, mine seems to be getting larger. So anyway,
Like nice delivery.
they're like hating these cookies, but they find themselves keep eating them and eating them. And so Alex comes into this, I'm assuming a week or so or whatever's gone by, and Alex comes into the cab company, and it's his day off, and he's like, why am I in the cab company on my day off? He's like, I know, I came to get more cookies. And then he's like nom, 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 like he's eating the cookies like a chipmunk. He's like nom, nom, nom. Real fast, but he's not nobody's there. He's like talking to himself, and he's talking, and he goes, why am I talking so fast? And like he's like doubting himself. And then he's like, something strange is going on here. And all of a sudden you see Bobby running by and doing a big like dance leap.
Yeah, pirouette. Yeah. Oh my God.
And then Tony comes in, and he's like, Tony, do you feel anything weird? And he's like, no. And then he goes over and picks up like the coffee machine. And then Elaine comes in, and Louis is starting to catch on that something is strange with these cookies.
Yeah.
And she touches Louis' ear and she's like, do you know you have the most beautiful ear I've ever seen? So it turns out
Oh.
that there is a secret ingredient in Latka's mother's
Mhm.
grandma's cookies. It's
Mhm.
cocaine, because
Yeah.
Jim has been on vacation and he comes in, and Danny DeVito's like, try these cookies, and Jim's like, oh, I smell, and he like crumbles it up and then he sniffs it. He's like, this
Oh
is
my
from
God.
Peru.
Yeah, 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 yeah. He does exactly, Cal.
So
Oh my
anyway,
God.
it is hilarious,
I love
absolutely
it.
hilarious. And Alex has to help Latka come down off of it because Latka's been eating the cookies all over.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that is a great episode. And yeah, just their characteristics on them are so funny, especially Alex, who's always very tame and put
Yes.
together. That is so funny. Yes.
And when he comes in, he's like, he's like,
Like,
what is wrong with me? Why am I here on my day off?
oh my God. Um,
Oh, Lord.
my my next one, surprisingly, because again, I think Bobby's a super overactor. Not that I don't like his character, not that I don't appreciate whatever way Jeff Conway wants to play him. And he definitely adds to the ensemble, don't get me wrong. But it's odd for me. I'm picking some Bobbies here, but I have my reason. So Bobby is always trying to make it and he never gets the part. He always comes close and something falls through. He goes for commercials, he goes for everything. So he takes on kind of a protege. There's a guy who also wants to get into acting, but he says, come and work at the cab company and I'll show you the ropes about going out on the auditions and you can work with my agent, whatever. So this guy on the first booking with the agent lands an off-Broadway production of Romeo and Juliet playing Romeo.
Mm-hmm.
So Bobby is excited because he lands a commercial for some tanning cream. And so they're going to throw a little party for Bobby, like, yay, you got your tanning cream commercial. Meanwhile, this guy is like, how do I break it to Bobby that I got a lead on day one? So Bobby walks in with his face half tan because it's
That's
a
right.
tanning cream commercial. And they tell Bobby, well, before they tell Bobby, I digress. Louis gets wind of this and he said, I can't wait to tell him. Let me tell him. And they're all like, you can't tell him. Don't tell him. And Louis starts to go in the dispatcher's cage to call. And this is the moment. They're all holding on to Danny DeVito until he's like a flag going straight this way. Tony Danza has him. Mary Lou Hinner has him. They all have him. And he purposely, you could tell, makes his body real straight.
Yeah.
But it's such a funny scene. He's holding on to the cage, and all three of them are giving him a pretty hard pull. Looks like his pants are going to come down. But that is a moment that's etched in my memory, too. And Louis says, don't worry, I won't tell him. So they digress and go to this party and tell him. And of course, he freaks out and he does get a moment to act out a scene from Romeo and Juliet. And I think it's good. It seems good. It's very dramatic.
Like he overacted it. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Just on a little side note, the guy who plays the kid who got the
Yeah,
part,
yeah.
also Grady Fletcher on Murder, She Wrote.
Got it. Okay. Okay, there we go. It always comes back to, yeah, it always comes around to another 80s show. But anyway, the funniest moment is just Louis getting wind of this and being so delighted to tell Wheeler,
Oh,
as
he
he
can't
says,
wait.
Wheeler, that he
Yeah.
can't, and them pulling him is just
Doesn't
funny.
Elaine even say, ooh, his pants are coming
Yes,
off?
and he said, "You wish," or something like that. He said, "Don't get excited," or something like that. Yes, exactly. But that
Oh
scene
my God.
alone is just so funny. We're
That
losing
is
are about to
funny.
come down. But
That
yeah,
is so
another
funny.
Bobby
And
overacting
you
moment.
realize, like, Louis a small little guy, but
Yeah.
they were still struggling with him.
Yeah, but they had him completely off the ground and he was good.
Yeah.
He just kept his body real straight. You could tell he was helping them. But oh my
Oh
gosh.
my gosh. That's a good one. That's a
Yeah.
good one.
That's a good episode.
Yeah,
That's a
that
good
is.
episode.
Well, my number 3, oh my Lord, this one's hilarious too. It is Jim the Psychic.
Oh, okay.
So this is one where Jim comes in and he's very upset and he tells Alex he's had a bad dream and that Alex was in it. And Alex is like, oh, well, what was it about? And Jim starts to like, I can't tell. Like he's like about to cry. And he's like, I have these psychic dreams. And so he tells this strange story about this series of events that's going to happen with Alex. And then when the clock strikes 7 p.m., I forget
Oh,
how many days away it
yeah,
was,
yeah.
death was going to knock on Alex's
Oh man.
door. And so the first thing that was supposed to happen was a beautiful woman was supposed to fall into his lap. And it happens at Mario's. This girl
Yeah,
trips and falls into his
yeah,
lap.
yeah.
And then Louis tries to tell Alex that this girl he's supposed to go out with that night has canceled his date, but he doesn't want him to go home. And Alex is like, this is crazy. I can't worry about this. I'm going to go home. But that was like part of the thing too. A cancellation was going to happen. And so Louis comes to his house and all these crazy things, like he was going to be mistaken for a girl and he was going to drink water really fast and a couple of other crazy things like a green shirt and a catcher's mask. They all start happening. And it's a great scene between Alex and Louis because Louis is trying to stop him from, it's going to happen. We got to get out of here. Let's get out of here. And Alex is like, no, I'm not going to let this run my life. I'm going to face this for what it is. And so the clock strikes 7 and nothing happens. And Louis like, oh my God, he's like, Ignatowski's a boob, like he's like making fun of the whole thing.
Yep.
And then like a second later, there's this knock, knock,
Oh,
knock on the
God.
door. And Louis like, oh, I almost apologized. Don't open that door. So they open the door and there is a little Girl Scout standing there with Girl Scout cookies. And Louis like, ah, ah. And the poor little girl drops the cookies and runs away. He's like, did you see it, Rieger? It was hideous.
Oh my God.
It is so funny. I recommend that one
That
highly.
is, it makes me think, this is a side note, but there's an episode where Alex gets held up in his cab and a bullet
Yes.
grazes his ear and he has PTSD. And there's he goes to pick somebody up and he can't do it. It's too scary. He goes to pick somebody up because not realizing that PTSD was a thing. And then the last he was like almost passed the person by. He's like, I gotta be brave. I gotta get back in the saddle. And he's so nervous, and the door opens and a Girl Scout gets in. But that made me think
Is
of
that
that.
also the one where he kicks the preacher out of the car
Yes,
because
because he
he
can't name
doesn't
the
say the
12
disciples
apostles.
right?
He
Oh
can't,
yeah.
yeah, he can't name the apostles quick enough. Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. Oh, I love that one.
Good
Oh
one
my
too.
gosh, that's a good one for sure. My number three has Danny DeVito's real life mom on it. We always
Oh,
hear about Louis' mom, and he's always yelling out the window down to the car, like, hold, keep your pants on, crazy lady, and stuff
yeah.
to her. But but she moves out. And so Louis is very bummed. He tells the gang that he's put her in the home and that he's now a swinging bachelor back at the apartment. And he doesn't want any of the rest of them there because they're going to embarrass him, but he's got a bunch of friends coming over to a party and Alex is allowed to come. Alex gets there and it's a little old lady apartment with the doilies on the chairs. And then these three odd guys. It's like Hugh, Lyle, and Denver Dan or something like that. And Alex is like, how did you meet these guys? And he's like, when someone has a heart attack on the street, he's like, and people gawk, he's like, we were the last ones there looking. Something like that. It was like some dumb
Yes.
thing. But anyway, they leave and Alex realizes he's sad without mom. And so Louis like, and you do see Danny DeVito's range there too. It's
Yes.
like, look at her little shawl.
I
And he's
know.
like, look at her little shoes, Alex. And Alex is like, I don't want to look. And he's like, just look at one, Rieger. Look at one. And he's holding his little shoe up. And then he just falls apart. They all feel bad for him because he's crying back at the dispatch cage and he's just walking around with her little shoe. So at the end, when he goes, he's banging on the door at the home and he's telling her to open up. This little teeny sassy lady with a lit cigarette comes out, the little perm, her purse, and it's Julia DeVito, his real
It's his
mom.
real mom.
And it's
Yeah.
so cute. When they
She
walk
is
out,
so good too. She's like
oh,
the perfect
she
little
does real acting. Like they
yes.
have her really acting.
Yes.
But it's so cute. And something about that episode, he's like, look at her little shoe, Rieger. I can't look at just one.
But
But
I love
anyway,
when they're
it's so
talking through the
cute.
door and he's like,
Yeah.
molto bene, mama, because
Yeah,
he
yeah.
talks to her in the
Yes.
Italian, because
Yes.
that's
Yeah. Oh my gosh. But I just love the episode so much about it. He's just
he's
so
like,
cute.
Ma, why are you carrying that suitcase with your bad arm?
Yeah.
And he like, and you're thinking he's grabbing it to
Yeah.
carry it, but he just switches it to her other arm.
You're a good hand. Yes. Oh my gosh. But they're just so cute
When
together.
she comes out, it's like everything. When she comes out that door and you see what his mom looks
And you
like,
just know it has to be his real mom.
it has
The
to be.
minute you see her,
She's tiny like this,
they have
and
the same posture, the little face is oh my God. You just know
uh,
it's his mom. I waited to make sure in the credits that it was his mom.
yes, yes.
But so cute. I love Danny DeVito so much because this episode really shows that range between Louie's a stinker and then sad Louie, and then
And he loves his mama,
his
you know?
mama. Yeah.
Oh, I
Oh
know.
my gosh.
She's in another episode.
I
Where
digress.
oh, okay. Sorry.
My number two is actually tied with that second episode she's in. So I'll
Okay.
mention it, but yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So my number two was a two-part episode,
Oh, okay.
and it's called Shut It Down.
Oh.
And what happens is Tony is almost in an accident because the brakes go bad or something. And the cabbies are like, we've had it. We're going to go on strike because you guys aren't taking care of us or whatever. And so they vote Elaine as the shop steward, who's the person who's supposed to negotiate with Louis, I guess.
Well, died because they had a shop steward, but what?
Well, he was dead, right?
He's been dead for 2 years.
Yeah. Well, first Tony's going to be it, but Louis, of course, like, he's going to have to be a bad influence. So Tony's like, we don't think you better be it.
Yeah.
So Elaine is the shop steward. So I'm sure everyone can imagine, because Louis loves Elaine in that way.
He's got the hots for her. He's got the hots.
Yes, that's a good way to put it. And so he negotiates with her that he will meet their demands if she goes out on a date with him. And so she's like, oh God. And so they're negotiating, like he's like, and at some point in the date, you have to call me Stallion.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Well, we need to tell the people at home that you've seen Danny DeVito and things and you love him, but Louis De Palma is supposed to be a little despicable.
Yes.
And
yes.
he's a bit of a creep. Now you see the different sides to him and you start to feel for him. But he has always had a thing for Elaine. Just pointing out in that mama episode, she's like, why don't you get married? And he's like, I'm not ready to get married. She goes, what about that Elaine Nardo who's so crazy about you?
She's like, what about Susan Anton?
Yes, what about Susan Anton?
And she calls her Elena Nardo.
Elena Nardo. Yes, sorry, go ahead. I digress. I just have to set up the she's repulsed by Louis.
Oh, she is so repulsed by Louis.
Yeah.
But she agrees to do some of his terms, not the stallion part. And so she is really doubting herself. And so Alex comes to check on her because she's not allowed to tell that this is why, they're coming to terms or whatever. And Alex gets suspicious and he comes over to check on her. And it's right before the date. And she's like drinking and she's like,
I got to go back and watch this one. Oh my gosh.
And so she's like, I don't want to do this. And he's like, just tell him you're not going to do it. We'll work it out. And she's like, I have to do it for the cabbies or whatever. And so Louis shows up and he's like, Rieger, what are you doing here? But Louis is dressed to the nines. I mean, he's got a top hat and everything. He's ready. And so she comes out with like 50 layers of clothing on.
Yeah.
Because she doesn't want to be at all attractive to him.
No.
Well, it's kind of sad because she's like, can I call my children before I go? And she's like, babies, it's mama. I just want you to remember me for who I was before all this happens. She thinks she's going to go insane, I think. But anyway, he rents out this whole restaurant for her and all these things. So finally it's over and she's like, they come to her door and she's like, am I home? Is it over? And he's like, Nardo, can't you at least admit you had a little bit of a good time? So he's like trying to talk to her. And so she's like, it was okay. It wasn't too bad. And so he's like, well, how about a little goodnight kiss? And she's like, no, that's it. No.
That's too
And
far.
so he like talks her into it. And she's like, just, on the cheek. Well, she leans in to
Oh,
kiss him on the cheek. He grabs her and they start rolling all around on the ground when she's trying to get rid of him. And she gets away from him. And then it's hilarious. It's just
and again, by
hilarious.
today's standards, you guys hear that and you're weirded out.
Oh no, he's
It was
not like
pure comedy.
attacking
Yeah,
her in
yeah,
that
no.
way.
He's got
It's
a big crush on her, and yeah,
yes,
it's funny. It's
yes,
pure comedy gold. Yeah.
yes.
Oh my
It,
gosh.
it's not.
Yeah.
It's not like
Yeah, yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. No, nowadays I'm just like, maybe we need a disclaimer, but yeah, no, it's very
Yeah.
funny.
But
Very
you've
funny.
got to watch it because the way she is like acting when she has to go out with him is
Oh my
hilarious.
gosh.
It's
Oh my
it's
gosh.
great for Mary Lou Henner. She was very good in it.
I've got to go back and watch that episode. Um, well, I don't want to say in case it's on your list, but I'll say we'll say at the end in our honorable mentions. I have another thing to say. Am I on two? Are we on two?
That was my two.
That was
Yes.
your two.
Did you
Okay,
do your three?
I did. That was
Okay.
the mom moving out.
Right.
So my two, I had a tie that I could barely break, and I'm not sure I broke it. But Louis has a class reunion,
Oh, I
and
love that one.
and
That's on
again,
my list.
Bobby's acting is back. But anyway, that's my solid two. I'm gonna leave the other one for an honorable mention. But
Okay.
Louis, the kids were terrible to him. And the cabbies don't really want to hear it because Louis is so awful to them, but they're like, all right, fine, tell us. And he's in love with this girl, Sheila. He admired her the whole time. And they set him up at the prom to come and sit next to Sheila. Sheila wants to sit next to you. And they part ways for him to sit there. There's a high chair there because he's such a small guy. So
Mhm.
they
Uh,
humiliate him. And so they cook up that Bobby's such a great actor that he's going to go back as Louis and say that he shot up in
yeah, growth spurt.
college, in a growth spurt in college. And he goes in his full over the top acting in a gray suit like Louis with a pink shirt underneath.
Yep.
And he's like goes and makes a fool out of all those people that were mean to Louis. And Louis shows up later with Alex to take a peek at what's going on, but makes a fool out of all of them, makes a fool out of the lady. And it's such a good episode because again, you see that range of how Louis can be despicable, but you get a little glimpse, and you get a
Sorry
glimpse
for
so
it.
that
Yeah,
they
you know
feel
what he's
something
been
for him.
through. Yeah.
Yeah,
I love that one. I
yeah,
love that one. When Jeff Conaway or Bobby is trying
yeah.
to convince Louis that he could be him, he's like, "There's no
Yes,
way you could be." He's like, "There's no way it could be me." Like he
yes.
was
And they say
repeating
the
back
same
to him.
things at the same time. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It is
yeah.
very cute. I like that. That episode is fun. That's a really fun episode. And him just scowling and being Louis and like, yeah.
Yes,
And
yes.
I like when you have to do the check-in table and take your tag, and he's like, De Palma, Louis. And he takes the tag, snaps it on, and he's like, thanks for nothing, or whatever. Like the girls are slow getting him the tag, and it's so funny. But anyway, yeah, he does a good job. His
And he
overacting works there.
and like Sheila is attracted to him.
Yeah,
Like they
yeah, because he's
dance
Jeff
at the
Conaway dancing,
yeah,
from
yeah.
Greece. He can dance, let's
Right,
be honest.
right.
And he did a lot of fancy Jeff Conaway dancing, right? He did
Yes,
all
he
the
did like the
down and up.
splits
All,
and
yeah,
stuff. Yeah,
he did some fabulous dancing, and ladies
yeah.
were pretty impressed, I gotta say. But yeah,
That's a great one.
Louis' class reunion.
Well, do you want me to do my number one and then we'll do some honorables
Let's
or
shout out our honorables first. Let's shout out some
okay.
honorables.
All right. Well, one that I love that I don't think a lot of people remember. Wait a minute, let me find the exact name of it. It's called The Unkindest Cut.
Oh,
And it is when Nardo has to go to this big Japanese opening of an art thing.
okay.
And she's going with some good looking guy. And she's like, oh, I just want something special. I want to get a special hairdo or whatever. Do you
I
remember
gotta
this one?
know, but I gotta look this up. Now I gotta see it for
And
myself.
so there's this hairdresser called Vincenzo that
Okay.
everybody goes to. Famous people go to him, but it
Mhm.
costs like $200.
Which is a lot to Elaine, a
Oh
real
my
lot.
gosh, yes. But she's saved it up in her purse and she's like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Well, she goes to this snooty hair salon
I gotta see this after we
and
get off here.
Vincenzo is played by Ted Danson.
Oh, that's funny.
And so he is very, very Vincenzo-y, if you know what I
Okay,
mean.
yep.
And he says, I am going to make you beautiful. And he's like asking her what she does. And he's like, oh, I've never done a cab driver before, like that, you know? And he says, don't you worry, I'm going to make you fabulous. He said, but you can't, well, you can't watch, you can't see what I'm doing. So he has her turned around, the mirrors covered or whatever, and he turns her around
I'm
and
gonna
he
watch.
has given her this horrifying hairdo. It's like fire engine red, which kind of is her hair color anyway,
Yeah, she's
but
a
it's
redhead.
not like this thing sticking up here.
Flock
It's
of
all,
seagulls.
oh my gosh, it's horrifying. And she screams when she sees it. She's like, what have you done to me? What have you done to me? And so he makes this big fool of her in front of all the other customers and everything. And she pays and she just leaves. And she goes into the cab place. And everybody's like, Elaine, what happened to your hair? And she's like crying. And
Oh,
then they realize Louis hasn't seen it yet. And
oh
Louis comes out and he's like, Nardo, oh Nardo, what have you done? How could you do this to me? He says,
God.
I like looking at you, but what have you done? And so she tells them that this guy made a fool of her,
Yeah.
and that she's like, I just opened up my wallet and paid him $250 or whatever. So they decide they are going to go back. Alex goes with her, and Louis, she doesn't realize Louis there at first, goes back to get the money. And it's, again, this guy's very full of himself, and even Alex can't. And they're about to leave, and Nardo says, she starts to pour like hair dye on Vincenzo's head because she's just so mad. And she's like, no, no, I have more class than this. And Louis walks up and he goes, I don't. And he goes and he pours the whole thing
Aw.
all over him. And then the snooty receptionist, he goes up and kisses her on the lips and leaves. But it's
Oh,
so good because
oh
they're
my
like,
gosh.
feel so bad. He's like,
Oh.
Nardo, no. How could you do this to me?
And their camaraderie is what's also so cute too. I mean, I love it.
Yeah.
That's one of the funniest things, and the cute, the heart, like heartwarming things too about
Yes. Yes.
her. Well, my honorable mention was when Louis' little mama gets remarried.
Yeah.
And Louis unhappy because his mom has joined this little social group with other old people, as he puts it.
Mhm.
And this little Japanese guy falls in love with her and she wants to marry him. And Louis doesn't want her to marry anybody, but of course, there's a little bit of hilarity that ensues. Again, good-hearted, you guys, but
Yes.
about
Yes.
this gentleman being Japanese. Just Louis' interactions with them. Like Louis the mom tells him to bow, and he does this like thing, there's that. Nothing disrespectful. But anyway, and the part he like tells her, I'm not going to be your son anymore if you get married. And he
Yeah.
lives in his cage at the dispatch. And everybody's going to the wedding and they want him to go with. And they have this very official Japanese wedding. And she comes out, little Julia DeVito, in this full regalia. And
Kimono with the
yes,
OB and everything.
yes. And he says, and you guys, I'm sorry if it's inappropriate, but he says, she looks like a scarecrow in a rice paddy.
Oh no, I forgot that. Oh,
He's like,
Louis.
my little mama, she looks like a scarecrow in a rice paddy. But he does go up and say, he gives his blessing or whatever. And it's so
Yeah.
cute. She gives him a little kiss on the lips and they say, she says, thank you to him in Italian. But that's another episode that has its laughs, mostly because of her face and her acting.
Yes.
And she comes into the garage and officially meets everybody. And she meets Elaine and she says, oh, your girlfriend. And none of them want to disavow her of thinking that.
Right,
Then she's
right.
like, Alex, come in. And she says something inappropriate to Alex too about you're the fellow that Louis always fixes all your problems or whatever. And I'm like,
Right.
wow. And then she meets Tony and she said, well, Louis told me a lot about you. She's like, can you even tell me what city you're in? And he's like, is that a trick question? And she looks at Louis like, you were right. Because Tony had a lot of head injuries or whatever from boxing. But anyway, her interactions and her acting, I don't know if this woman's ever acted or if Danny DeVito's like, come and pretend to be my mom, or not that she's not his mom,
Yeah.
but she's so endearing in it. And we see that he's torn up because he's going to miss his mom.
Yes.
That too.
But he
But then,
wants her to be happy in the end.
but the funniest part is this very traditional, kind of beautiful ceremonies taking place. And you're just like, oh God, Louis, don't say anything. Don't say anything. And Jim, of all people, who is a learned scholar before he burned himself
Right.
out, is
Right.
telling exactly how the ceremony works and giving us the play by play,
That's
which
right.
is
That's
also really
right.
fun. But that's one of my honorable mentions.
I
So
love
Louis
that. My
Tom's
favorite part is when they're in Mario's and he's telling her, you got to choose between him or me. And she's like, I want to be happy, Louis. I'm sorry. And she's like, let's go, Itsu. Cause his
yeah,
name
yeah,
is
yeah.
like
It's
Itsu
Fujikawa.
Fuyami
Yeah,
or
yeah,
something.
yeah.
Yeah.
And when Louis talks to him, I like how she's like, I'll be over here having a smoke. And he's like, just go smoke, crazy lady. And he always says something like that to her, crazy lady. Oh my
Let me
gosh.
just, I have so many here. I
I
would
have more
never
too.
do
I
that
have
to
more
you.
too.
There are a couple of the two-parters that I think I just want to mention parts of them because they're all the stories. Like when they do the two-parters, they usually have each character have something in the two-parter
Right,
that
right,
has to
right.
do with the story.
Yes,
But
they tell their
there's one
section.
where Elaine has to decide whether she's going to take her kids and move to Seattle and
Oh,
accept a new
yes,
job.
yes.
And so they're all telling her stories about how they had to make a decision that changed their life.
Hmm.
Well, the best one by far is Jim, because you learn about Jim's background that Jim went to Harvard and that he is a very straight laced guy at Harvard. And his girlfriend they're into smoking marijuana or eating marijuana brownies. And Jim's like, I'm not going to do that. I don't need to do that to have fun
Learning
or
to do.
whatever.
Yeah,
And so Tom Hanks has a funny
he does.
little role in that where,
Stoner. Yeah.
yes. And he's like
Oh,
looking at a lava lamp, like,
yeah, he
like
is.
it's
He
very
is.
funny.
Yes.
But finally, Jim takes a bite of it. He's like,
Mm.
if, okay, I'll do it. But, will you get off my back then? So he takes a bite and he chews it and he's like, see, there. And then all of a sudden he goes, like
Yeah.
he goes into that face
It's
that he has all
funny.
the time.
It's funny, but now that I'm a mom, I'm like, that was a gateway drug. And
Yes,
it ruined his
yes,
life.
it was, it
Right? In a way,
was,
it's a
yes,
little heartbreaking. Now that I'm a
it
mom, I'm like,
is,
this isn't funny.
it
It is
is. And
fun. It
he
is
kind of
funny,
got
but
peer pressured into
yeah,
doing it,
he did.
which,
And he was this brilliant guy.
yeah,
Anyway, you're right. But the
yeah,
part I like about that two-parter is where Louis is a cabbie and he likes being a cabbie and getting the bookings. And there's
yes,
this sweet
the
old guy
kid,
that's the dispatcher.
yes.
So he wants Louis to take the part over. And my favorite taxi line, he says, Louis, there's something I want to give you. And I think he means the recommendation to be the dispatcher. And he says, well, it better not be your wife's peach slop because it gives me the trots. And this poor guy, like his wife bakes bakery items, and he's so the opposite of Louis. Like his wife brings baked goods and all this stuff, and he's like, "Your wife's peach slop gives me the trots," and that line stayed with me since the
Oh
first time
my
I saw the
God.
show.
And he
So
has to sub for the guy, and so he's in there hating life in there,
yeah,
and somebody asks for their message and he's like, I'm not giving you your stupid message. And he's like, will you do it for $1? And all of a sudden it's like, oh,
yes,
like he
where he gets
realizes,
his bracket
wait a
going. Yeah,
minute, this is
yes.
pretty good.
Oh my God. And have you and I not over the years, if anybody has a stomach ache, we're like, did you eat the peach slop? Did
Your wife's
somebody's
peach
wife's peach
flop.
slop give you the trots? Anyway, that's
There's
delivered by
another
Danny DeVito.
there's another two-parter that I just love the one section of it. And it's Hervé Villachez from Fantasy Island had been in Tony's cab,
Yeah.
and he's going to come for a visit to pick something up that he left in the cab. And so they're all telling their fantasies. And Elaine's is the best because her fantasy is they do like a Broadway show kind of thing in the cab company,
Yeah.
and they do. It like switches, and she's like starts singing, and then they all are like got their top hats. It's such a fun ending to that episode. I love it so much.
That is I like there's another two-parter. I think it's called like Cab 804 or something.
Yeah,
They're
yes,
all lamenting that it was their lucky cab and
yes.
John got in an accident. That John, see, it's bad trouble. But anyway, but there's a part where it shows Louis in his old cabbie days,
Yeah.
and this snot-nosed kid gets in, and the dad gives him the money, and he says, "Drive this kid to such and such academy." And he's actually one of the little smart alecks from Bad News Bears, little blonde.
Yes,
So he
yes.
tells Louis, "I'll give you 600. I'll give you some of this $600 my dad gave me if you'll let me drive." And Louis says, "Oh, well, he shouldn't." He's like, "And I'll give you 40 bucks." And so Louis like, "Okay." And they switch places, and the little boy pulls out a booster seat and says, "I don't need this pillow," because Louis so tiny. And then that, anyway, that one always makes me laugh where they each show, and you're right, it's a two-parter because they each show their experience.
Yes, yes. And they do several of those
Yeah.
throughout the time, but one more,
Yeah.
and then
I'll
I'll
do one
stop.
more and you do one more.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um it's the one where it's Louis Goes Too Far, it's called. And
No. No.
he peeked at Nardo through a hole
He
in
did.
the ladies' bathroom.
Mhm.
And she's like, I've had it. This was terrible. And she decides she's going to go to the women's league and get
Lodge is
him
a complaint. Yeah.
fired. So
Hmm.
she did, in fact, get him fired. And so he comes back to her, begging her to change her mind. And she's like, you don't even understand why this violated me so bad. And he's like, I'm trying. And so it ends up being a very moving scene because he does tell her, he's like, I think I have one that might explain it. And he says how because he's so small, he would have to buy his clothes in the boys' department, and that he would cut, he's like, and you open those, you know, dressing room doors and you walk out in your new corduroys and all the kids there are pointing and laughing at you because you're a man coming out wearing boys pants. And he's like, is that how I made you feel? And she starts crying and he starts crying. It's actually a pretty moving episode, really.
Yeah. 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 Oh no,
But
I thought you were going to say more. That's why I was leaning.
no, I didn't
Yeah.
want to do too
Yeah.
much detail because I know I'm getting too wordy.
Okay, so one of the weirdest things, I'm not sure it's an honorable mention. Now, Andy Kaufman, if anybody knows or if they've seen the Jim Carrey movie about Andy Kaufman, he's an unusual guy. And there's a
Unusual.
period of time in his life where he plays an alter ego called Tony Clifton, but in real
Yes.
life, he
Yeah.
goes places as Tony Clifton. It's very unusual. But anyway,
Yes.
on the show, they made Latka have like a schizophrenic break, and he plays Vic Ferrari.
Yes. It
It's
does.
the most uncomfortable, weird thing, but it works.
It
And
worked.
I feel like it's a little bit of that Tony, although Tony Clifton is like, he wears a mask, he's very rude talking. Vic Ferrari is just a ladies' man.
Yeah, he's a
So
playboy.
unlike Sweet Little Ladka. But I don't know, I don't remember how that was ever resolved because he does end up getting married to Simca later.
Yes.
But
Yes.
the Vic Ferrari having the schizophrenia doesn't seem like something that would be funny, but it's hysterical.
It
And
is.
yeah, but it is uncomfortably hysterical, right? It's weird. It's very,
It is very weird. Well, the truth of the Tony Clifton thing is he agreed to do Taxi only if they would allow him at some point to bring Tony Clifton
oh.
and that he has a role as well.
Did he come on as Tony Clifton at some point?
No, never.
Oh, so it's
Because what
that.
happened, something happened, and I saw Danny DeVito and Tony Danza both interviewed about this, and they were both like, we love Andy, but he could be a
It
real
got weird.
jerk.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
get that.
And something happened. Like they tried to have him come on, and everybody just hated him. He was like, it threw off all of our timing, and it just was a bad
Tony
situation.
Clifton's like a mean guy, a bad.
Yeah.
He's not
Yeah.
like, yeah, he's like a lounge lizard type of
You
performer.
do you remember there's an episode, it might be like the third or fourth episode of the whole show, where Louis's brother comes.
Oh, yeah, he's a poker player.
He's a poker player. That was supposed to be Tony Clifton playing that
Oh.
Louis's brother.
And Locke not even on that episode, I don't think.
Correct.
Okay. So I
Correct.
guess them letting him play Tony Ferrari, what did I just say? Is it Vic Ferrari? Was
It was,
them like,
yes.
do your thing, bro.
Yeah.
This is as far as we're
Yeah.
gonna take it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
And for a long time, people didn't believe he was really dead when he died
Right. They thought
because
he
they thought he
was
had, maybe he was
yeah.
Tony Clifton somewhere or whatever. But Latka, oh, not Latka, Andy Kaufman would say Tony Clifton was a different person and that
Yeah.
it wasn't him.
Yeah. It's true. He
It
went like
is.
that. He had very elaborate prosthetics
Yes.
to be
Yes.
Tony Clifton.
Yep.
Yeah. But such a strange thing. But
Yeah,
I thought Vic Ferrari must have been a little nod to that Tony Clifton.
I guess so. I thought the whole Vic Ferrari thing was just irritating, quite frankly.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Yes.
and when Simca came, that's when his character reignited
Yeah.
because he
Yeah.
was so
Carol
funny and they were
Kane.
so
Great.
funny together. So
Someone from his homeland. They got married.
yes,
Yes. Very cute.
yes.
Very cute. Okay, number one. I think it's going to be the same, but drum roll, please.
Do you really think it's going to be
I
the same?
do. I
I
think.
didn't. Mine is not going to be that.
Oh, okay. Mine is definitely that. But go
Okay.
ahead.
Okay. Good. Good. That good. So mine is Louie and the Nice Girl.
I love that one. That was vying for a spot on my list.
Yes, yours was also, but I was like, I bet she's gonna do that one, and I'm not gonna ruin hers
But
like
it's
I do
not
every
for the
time.
reason you think. But anyway, go ahead.
Okay, Louie and the Nice Girl. So Danny DeVito is married to Rhea Perlman in real life. She
From
played
Fierce.
Carla on Cheers,
Yeah.
but she started off on Taxi as a character named Xena, who came and filled the candy machines in the why I keep calling it the cab company, but what do they call it?
Yeah, Sunshine Cab Company.
I
It's
know, but what do they
the, the pit. No, it's not the pit, but it's like
they
it's the
call
garage. The garage.
the garage? Thank
Mhm.
God, thank you. Oh my
Yeah.
lord. So yeah, so she had a crush on Louis, and nobody could really understand why. And so Alex decided to introduce them. Well, Louis being
At her
Louis
behest.
at her, yes, Louis being Louis was like, you know,
Yeah.
so you know,
And
she's
got a
gonna,
couple free candy bars.
yeah. So they begin to see each other, and Louis, of course, being the braggy old fool he is, comes in and tells everybody, "Look, she ripped the shirt right off my back," and that kind of thing. Like he's
Mhm.
bragging about them. Well, Cena comes in and says, "Alex, can I talk to you?" And she tells Alex that he has not laid a finger on her,
Yeah.
not to even kiss her.
Mm-mm.
And so Alex is like, like I love when Alex does that because
Yeah,
that's
he's
not
like a
the first
nervous
time.
laugh. Yeah.
He's trying not to laugh, but he's like, "So he's never touched you?" She's like, "No," and he's like,
Because he wanted to whisper to each of them what he had done to her or whatever.
"Yes,
And Elaine,
yes,
if
that's
you
right."
whisper in my ear, you'll be whispering the rest of your life.
Yeah. So anyway, Louis decides that he's going to break up with her. What? I'm blurry again. I don't know why. That he's going to break up with her because he doesn't know what to do about it. Because he tells Alex the truth is, am I blurry to you right
Yeah.
now?
I don't know why though.
I
Not now. Oh,
moved.
you're
There
good.
we go.
Just
I
it'll
moved too
focus
much,
on,
I
yeah,
guess.
something happened
I'm
there.
getting too excited about these taxi.
Your wife's peach slump now.
But anyway, Louis decides he's going to break up with her because his problem with not being able to touch her is he's never been with a nice girl
Right,
before. He
right.
said his longest relationship with a woman was 30 minutes,
Mhm.
if you know what I
You
mean.
get it, you guys.
Yeah.
And some money may have changed hands.
Yes, yes. So they're in her apartment and she's like, "Why do you want to break up with me?" And they're kind of having a little to do about it. And so finally she's like, "Can I at least give you a kiss goodbye?" And he's like, "Oh," like that.
You don't have
So
to do it,
she
yeah.
does. And say this is like the one you did before. He falls, it's such a good kiss. He falls back on the arm of the chair and he is straight out like this.
His little legs are like, eh.
And he's like,
So cute.
"Whoa," like that. And then one of the things that was ticking Alex off was that every time Louis would mention Zena's name, he'd go, "Hey, hey, hey," like that. And so he's like, oh, like that. And she knows she's got him. And she goes over and she's about to turn the light switch off. And she goes, Louis. And he's like, yeah. She goes, and she turns the light off. It's
Yes.
such a cute
You know
episode.
what had me taken with that episode is she's so young.
She
She's
is
so
young.
young there. Like
Yeah.
Danny DeVito's kind of always looked the same, but her face is she's a little fresh face in that episode. Yeah.
Does.
It's
Yeah.
so interesting because people probably know, but they're married in real life and have kids.
Yeah.
They've been married a long time.
But they
Um,
got divorced. Did you
did
know
they
that?
finally get divorced? Because I know they were like
Yeah.
separated but still besties. They just wanted to live in separate houses, and I don't know, but they were
Yeah.
married a long time.
They were.
That's such a good episode. Yeah,
That's
that is
one of
a
my
great episode.
favorites. All
Yeah.
right. What's your number one?
Well, look, you guys, I would be remiss if we mentioned Taxi without Reverend Jim Gets Hired. So he comes back. He's in that first episode, and what we couldn't say is he married Vladka so he could stay in the country to a hooker that
Yes.
the guys found on the street. But anyway, so they also went back out on the street and found a reverend, and Jim did the ceremony. But
Yes.
they brought him back. And yes, again, it's not very PC because I know he's a burnout, but they wanted to get him hired as a cabbie. You would hope now that he would not drive under the influence or burnout, preferably. But he goes to the DMV. You guys have probably seen this pass by on TikTok or somewhere.
Yes.
You're on YouTube. I'm sure there's a clip of it on YouTube here, where he's taking the driver's test and they're standing waiting for him. And he's like, "Psst, what does yellow light mean?" And Bobby says, "Slow down." And he says, "What does?" And each time Bobby says, slow down, he says it longer and longer. And it's just, Tony chimes in with something funny. Elaine chimes in with something funny. It's just a classic Taxi moment that I think everybody's like, it's hysterical. But Jim doesn't really, I'm sorry, Louis doesn't really want to hire him because he's a burnout. And so when Louis looks the other way, he puts in Louis's coffee. Again, we're not advocating this. It's just funny.
Yeah.
And they all like, "What did you put in Louis's coffee?" And he's like, "Well, it was either a upper or a chiclet. I'm not sure which." And so Louis all of a sudden is singing. What is he saying? Like moon, he comes out of the
Yeah.
cage and he's like sings
On
like,
Moonlight Bay.
yes,
Whatever that was.
exactly.
We were sailing
Yes.
along.
And before it was over, Jim was calling him boss and he was calling him Iggy for Ignatowski.
That's right.
So, and then the very last scene, he's going out on his maiden voyage in the taxi, and Alex is like, "I'm going to hop in the back and be your first fare." And he says, "Okay." And he puts the car in, hits the gas, and reverses through the outer wall. So that's our first glimpse of Jim doing the job.
God.
But it introduced Jim's character really all the way back into the ensemble. John is long gone by then. And Latka's kind of coming in and out a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
fully fleshed out in the scenes anymore. So I think Jim really rounds out the cast. And the thing about Jim is that makes him so interesting, and we alluded to this. He's brilliant mixed in with burnt out.
Yes.
So he has these
One of
moments.
my favorite episodes that's about
I
that.
know what it is. It's so sad, right? It's kind of a sad episode.
Well, no, not the sad one. This one you're like, oh my God, Jim. So Elaine gets invited to this art industry person's party. And Jim had been with her when she sees this lady and gets invited. And she also invites Jim because they had gone to a play or something. So Jim has a suit on and
Spiffed
everything.
up, yeah.
Yeah. And so she's like, oh my God, how am I going to bring him to this? So they go and he's got his tux on and everything. And the lady's like, oh no, I'm in such distress. The piano player that I was supposed to have to play throughout this is called sick or whatever. And Jim's like, well, I'll play the piano for you. And Elaine's like, Jim, no. And so the lady's like, could you, Mr. Ignatowski? And he's like, sure. So he sits down and he starts to play like chopsticks in a real bad way. And he's like hitting wrong notes. And he's like, oh, the hell with it. And then he's like, like he goes, I guess I must have had piano lessons.
Because that's the thing. Jim's a rich boy that went to an Ivy League school
Yes.
and was raised by wealthy people.
Is
Yeah.
the one you're talking about where
Yes.
where he makes the castle out of his van?
Yes. Yes.
Oh,
There's that. And there's also the one where they go home to see his father. Is that the
yes.
same one? That's the same
No,
episode?
that's a different one. He's trying to cheer up Elaine, and she says there are no
Yes.
castles in life or whatever.
Yes. Yes. But then there's a different episode where he has to go home to his father, and his father's just so disappointed in him,
Yes.
because he went a bad way. And like I said, it was funny and heartwarming at the time. And now as a mom, I'm like, oh God.
No. And at the
Oh,
end, when he's like, Dad, it was really great seeing you, because he's already left and he's like walking away,
yeah,
and
yeah. Didn't
he's like,
Victor Buono play
it
his dad?
was, yes.
If you guys are movie buffs, and if you're watching this for this long, you probably are. There's a
We
movie
love you
called
if you are.
Yes, there's a movie called Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, and Victor Buono is the guy that Baby Jane hires to restart her career. He's going to be a
Yes.
piano player. He's a heavy set fellow. He was also on Star Trek, I believe, before. He's
Yeah.
cameos on a lot of things. But
Stop. Was
anyway,
he Dr.? No, he wasn't Dr. Mudd. That was someone
no,
else.
that's the guy from the mother-in-laws or the
Yeah,
in-laws, whatever it's
you're
called.
right.
But anyway, yes, so that Reverend Jim gets hired, introduces us to Jim, and it just has some moments that, like, even Tony's like, I can't believe this guy. And
I know.
Tony's a
I
pretty innocent guy. Oh, there is a funny part where Tony says to Jim, and I thought this was a little poignant, and I actually liked that they said this. He's like, Jim is talking, they're like, you must have done a lot of drugs. And he's like, how many do you think I did? And Elaine's like, a lot. And he's like, that's it, or something. And
know.
Tony's like, so while we were over there, and that's not to get political, I just thought it was an
Right,
interesting
right.
moment. He said, so while I was over there fighting for my country in Vietnam, and you guys were here, getting stoned and doing this, what do you have to say for yourself? And Jim looked at him and he's like, thank you very much. And he's like, okay. I
There wasn't much else
thought
you
it
could
was,
say to
yeah,
that.
that
Yeah.
was an
Yeah.
interesting little nod there. But
Yeah.
anyway,
It's kind of an interesting truth,
yes,
right? Like
yes, yes.
what
Well,
Tony said was true. And then
yeah, yeah, yeah. But you guys, the best
I could do a
ensemble
million
cast.
more,
I mean, we could be
honestly,
here. Oh, we've probably been on for, well, we went
over
over
an
an
hour.
hour.
Sorry, folks.
It's a two-parter. Work out for 30 minutes one day, and the next day just fire her back up and listen to the rest while you're on the elliptical or whatever.
It's hard not to get super excited about these
There's
episodes
such an
because,
amazing cast, and we're just like, it again makes me feel lucky, so lucky to be alive in that time period,
yeah,
because I feel like we had, well, there were only a finite period amount of channels, but we also had the attention span to lean in and listen to this dialogue. And
yes,
a lot of this dialogue took place in the garage of the cab company. There was not CGI and flash and over
correct.
the top, people that all look the same, or whatever. Everything was diverse. It was awesome. Just
It,
awesome. And what
it
a
was
great cast.
character driven work.
Yes.
Character driven work.
Yes.
I miss it terribly in the newer
And
things.
people who had real talent. They weren't there based on just their looks or
Mhm.
I don't know. All my spiels, you guys. They had real talent, and
Right.
range, and a range.
Yes.
Funny to make you cry.
I agree. I agree
And
100%.
just a shout out to the entire
And
cast.
when you look at someone like Danny DeVito or Christopher Lloyd, who played Jim
Yeah,
Ignatowski,
yeah.
it's like you look at those two and you think, how are they actors?
Mhm.
Because back then you were taken for your talent. No, Danny DeVito couldn't play every single role. But I feel like now everybody looks the same.
Right, 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 right,
There are several actresses in movies now that I can't tell apart. Like,
right,
I
right.
don't know who they are.
And look, I am in the fitness business, but I don't need to see your fitness routine just because you're an actor or whatever.
I
We
agree.
never, I mean, once in a while in a magazine, you might have an actress like, here's my special diet. But I mean, we didn't care about that stuff. And they
No,
didn't really, there were exceptions now. We didn't hear about their politics. We
ugh,
didn't care about their nonsense. We didn't, if they were up to whatever they were up to, unless Rona Barrett told us, we didn't really know about it.
exactly.
And it was
Exactly.
nice that way. But anyway, a huge shout out to the cast of Taxi who were blessed. They're with us, right? Everybody in the cast with us. we're blessed.
Except Andy Kaufman. He's
Except
been
Andy
gone a long
Kaufman,
time.
that's
Yeah.
right. That's right.
And
But
Jeff Conaway also
that
lost a
was
long time ago.
that was not recent, Jeff Conway.
He
No.
died at like 61.
Oh, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But what a cast. What a
Yeah.
cast. So go back and watch these, you guys. You won't feel like, oh, this is going to feel outdated. Nope.
No, it
It's
stands the test of time.
it's
Trust
people
us.
and the things they talk about making a buck and wanting and having to do this to live and wanting to live a different dream and everything, the relationship stuff, everything is there and it's timeless. It really is.
It is.
It really
It
is.
is. Sorry if we went too long. Please hang with us. We hope you get as excited about these as we are. I encourage you to go watch them. You can find them on Prime and the On Now
Yes.
thing. It's on a good bit on
Right
there.
now, it's the whole thing. That's how I went back and got hooked. I had like
Yes.
a day where I was like, I need to be getting something done, but here it is.
So
And I'm like,
always hope for
why
rainy
am I a
days.
little crushing on Judd Hirsch? So let me keep watching. It's funny with maturity. I mean, not that Tony Danza isn't still adorable, but with maturity, you're like, that Judd Hirsch is really the stand-up guy in this.
Yeah. Yeah. He was the anchor for sure. For sure.
Oh my gosh. So you guys share your taxi moments. Favorite
Please.
episode, favorite line, favorite just moment that you cracked up. Because I mean, if you've never heard of it, watch and comment. Come back and comment for us. And as
We
always,
promise you, you're going to laugh
you're
at these.
gonna laugh. And as always, subscribe, like, follow, tell your friends who also love everything 60s, 70s, 80s, and who miss the good old days like us. And just join us in the Wayback Machine every time. We really appreciate it. And comment away. We want to hear what you have to say. Or if you have a suggestion, like you guys deep dive Danny DeVito or whatever, let us
Yeah,
know. We're happy to take suggestions. That's for sure.
absolutely.
Well, this was really fun. And I'm going to be watching some more Taxi later while I'm folding my laundry.
I know. I love it so
I
much.
gotta see Elaine's hairdo now. I gotta refresh myself on
That's
that.
right. Mary Lou Henner, if you're out there, come
Oh,
visit us.
oh, girl, we love you. And I used to do your workout video. That's a good one, you guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's for another day, maybe, but that's a good one. All right, Di, love you.
Love you
Be great.
too.
Peace out, and everybody, peace. We'll see you next time. Thanks for tuning in.
Bye-bye.